Thanks for joining me for part 3 of box 8 of our 45 RPM vinyl records. And that's the power of love of music. Huey Lewis in the News hit number 1 in 1985. Boy, was Huey hot then. And the B-side of that was Bad is Bad, which was another really great song. That album did not have a bad song on it, except maybe the last song. But it was a really, really awesome album. Loved the sports album. Definitely one that you should have in your collection if you still collect any kind of physical media. And then this sleeve's kind of cool. It's actually got the original price tag on it. Heart of Rock and Roll for $2.99. But you can see that this is a reissued version of the 45, being a classic label. It's not the original one that came out at the time that it was released. And the B-side of that is If This Is It. Please let me know. Yeah, all 4 of those Huey songs were great songs. And then here's one that I originally was going to start this episode up with. The nice Fog Hat. Third time lucky. First time I was a fool. Yeah, you know, part 3, third time. Yeah, I was going to start it with this one, but then I ended up deciding that Huey was a better kickoff for this episode. B-side being Love in Motion. But Foghat was a great band. I really liked Foghat a lot. Boogie Motel was not one of their better albums, but it's Foghat, and to have a Foghat on 45 is really cool in my opinion. And now here's another Cheap Trick exclusive album song, Everything Works If You Let It, which came off of the Roadie soundtrack. If you've never seen the movie Roadie, you should definitely look that one up and give it a viewing. That's a great film with Meatloaf and a number of other people in it. But Cheap Trick did the soundtrack albums for, Up the Creek and Roadie, and there's another one that's not coming to mind now, but I know I've previously shown you in another episode. This is at least the third Cheap Trick soundtrack 45 that we've seen on the channel. B-side being Way of the World. But Cheap Trick was a band that I admired a lot as well. I remember the very first time I ever saw them was on the Midnight Special, and everybody the next day at school was talking about how he was playing with these gigantic drumsticks. That got everybody's attention, let me tell you. It might have been a gimmick, but it worked. It got them talked about at school the next day. All right, here's an interesting one. Kix doing Poison from 1981. I wouldn't have guessed that Kix went back that far, to tell you the truth. I remember Blow My Fuse being a really great album for them. But this was their first album, apparently, and B-side being The Itch. And I'm not nearly as familiar with Kix's first album as I was with Blow My Fuse. So, interesting to have a 45 off their first album there. That's pretty cool. And then we got a nice blue, pretty colored Quiet Riot with Come On, Feel the Noise, which was a huge hit for them at the time. I remember hearing stories about how he did not, Kevin DuBrow, the singer, did not want to do that song, didn't want to do a cover of it, but it became one of their biggest hits. B-side being Run for Cover, which is funny B-side title for a song that had a cover song on the A-side. And that Come On Feel the Noise, that was originally, come on brain, work with me now. I can't remember now who that was, but they did not do it originally. All right, here's Hot Blooded by Foreigner, $2.99. Original price tag there from the store. And it's an oldie series, so this is a reissue. Double Vision on the A-side, I believe, with Hot Blooded. Check it and see. Got to hit number 3 on the charts for Foreigner. And that's a really good 45. I think I've got both of those original 45s. I believe I even have Double Vision in a picture sleeve, if I didn't already show it recently in that last batch of picture sleeves. it will be coming up sometime. Then here's Styx doing Queen of Spades. The label looks pretty rough, pretty bad, but the grooves are sweet. So really nice, clean copy with just a really bad looking label. And that's actually, I believe, Too Much Time. Oh yeah, that's really folded over there and doesn't want to fold back. Bad label on both sides, but Too Much Time on My Hands, I believe, was actually the A side there. That came out from Paradise Theater, and Queen of Spades was off of Pieces of 8, I do believe. Yeah, Pieces of 8, it does say there. So you know about A&M. We've talked about A&M and a lot of the Styx ones. Now here's, we got a couple of Styx reissues on the Memories label. So these aren't the original A&M ones that came out. But notice that, Too Much Time on My Hands again. Here's your original Too Much Time on My Hands, and here is a reissue, probably made for jukeboxes specifically. But the other side of that has The Best of Times on it, which was another really good Styx song from Paradise Theater. At least here, this way, you've got two Paradise Theater songs on the same 45. Looks like Too Much Time hit number 9, and Best Times hit number 3, according to someone else's documentation. The person I bought these off of wrote on a lot of them. I've got quite a few in different boxes even with notations like that on them. It's kind of good and bad. I mean, it doesn't ruin it to me, but I'd rather they had written it on the sleeve and not on the label of the 45. But done is done. There's not much I can do about it. Renegade, which I know we've seen other copies of Renegade too, but apparently it hit number 16. And the B-side of this reissue is Sing for the Day, which they probably should have picked a different song, because I don't remember that being one of the Styx's better tunes, actually. But that's what they ended up putting on this reissue for Renegade. Next up, we've seen this sleeve quite a few times, but it's kind of cool that it's Eric Records, and it's Derek and the Dominoes doing Layla. Yeah, you know the connection there. Derek and the Dominoes was actually Eric Clapton and some of the guys from Allman Brothers and some other guests, I think guys from Traffic. But the B-side of this is not Eric Clapton or Derek and the Dominoes. It's Bobby Bloom doing a song called Montego Bay, which doesn't necessarily ring a bell for me, but hit number 8 in 1970. So I would probably recognize it if I put it on the turntable and gave it a spin. But Layla, yeah, everybody knows Layla. You got me on my knees, Layla. All right, here's a really cool one. I like this song a lot. It's a happy, upbeat Steely Dan song. Ricky, don't lose that number. You don't want to call nobody else. And the B-side being Any Major Dude Will Tell You. I like Steely Dan. They did a lot of really good stuff. Donald Fagen and Walter Egan. I think that was his name. Yeah, Donald Fagen, definitely. Anyways, moving on, we've got Paul Davis with 65 Love Affair. Yeah, that's a good one. Hit number 6 apparently in 82, but it's marked 81. But March 82, a lot of times it takes a while for a song to catch on or get the airplay back then to get it up in the top of the charts. And then the B-side of that being We're Still Together. So, you know, that had to be rough for an artist. Put out a song and then wait and watch the charts and see if it does anything or not. Sometimes 3-6 months later, and it starts getting up into the top 10. That would have been something to experience as an artist. And then here's a really good one. Badfinger. No matter what you do, I will always be around. Badfinger had a few good songs. Paul McCartney worked with them some and gave them a couple of songs at least. I don't think he was associated with this one, but they were on the Apple label because of Paul. And the B-side being Carry On Till Tomorrow. But yeah, that's a really Good song to have on the 45. And no matter what you do, I wouldn't want to be like you. Yeah. Alan Parsons. And I absolutely love this song. I used to dedicate it to a particular related individual that I will just let that water flow. And the B-side was Nucleus. I liked a lot of Alan Parsons albums. I had all the 70s stuff on LP back in the day. They were another band like Pink Floyd to me that I like to, relax and listen to. And then this one, The Letter, give me a ticket for an airplane. My baby, she wrote me a letter. I really love BTO's remake of this, but this is the one that you're probably familiar with. The Box Tops doing the original version of The Letter. And the B-side of that on Spear Sound Records. It's kind of a cool logo. I like the way they did that, actually, with the block and the arch. B-side being Happy Times, which isn't a song that I recognize. At least not without giving it a spin. Alright, so next up we're going to do a couple of Starships. We built this city on rock and roll. And the B-side being an instrumental called Private Room. And we're going to wrap this episode up with Starship doing Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now Except for the End of the Episode. Actually, I think the A side of that was Laying It on the Line, Laying It on the Line. And that Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now was the B side, I believe. But come on back for part 4. We got lots more to show you. Have a great day. We'll see you again.